The baby or the fetus that was in the mother's womb was deformed. The eye was not well formed.
It's not as if there's no water in the Pra River, but the quality is so bad, we can't abstract more than that. The Amte operation causes the sand or the silt to gather at the intake that we are not able to use to abstract water. Sometimes we even need to close down the plant.
There's no potent solution to ending Galamsey and an impeachment of President Akufo-Addo.
Tell me where we gonna run go after making our mind. So we have to pay for the oxygen we breathe.
What would it take exactly to finally fix the issue? I have some really brilliant minds from persons who really care about the environment, from civil society, from persons who can all break our conscience so that we finally get to act right after this break.
The other day, I visited Kwaku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Hooray! Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's back-to-school promotion is here with us once again. From August to September this year, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10 to 20% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takrade, Winneba, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stocks last. For more information, call us on 0506 487 557 or 0302 764 209 or via email at info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Supposed to happen, let me find the reason.
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe mamu more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe mamu lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Luxurious, affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Courts is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofaline Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
Are you ready to turn your dreams into reality? Don't just dream it, own it with a loan from Fidelity Bank. Dreaming of a new home? Own it with Fidelity Mortgage Loan. Dreaming of smelling the scent of a brand new tear rubber car? Own it with Fidelity Auto Loan. Dreaming of getting the latest phone, TV, fridge, furniture, laptop or gaming console? Own it with Fidelity Consumer Asset Finance. Dreaming of expanding your business? Make it a reality with our business loan. Fidelity Bank is offering flexible loans to businesses, salaried workers and the self-employed at a competitive rate. Dial 0800 003355 or visit any of our branches nationwide today to turn your dream into reality with a Fidelity Bank loan. Terms and conditions apply. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
Fidelity. If I believe with us. Fidelity. If I know I on your side. Fidelity.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Doctors,
Nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers,
bankers.
You could be the luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
east, west, north, south, Obiama to be.
You could be the luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Accra to Haga.
Let's go.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Doctors,
Nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers.
bankers.
Star 712 hash.
You could be the luckiest.
Welcome back to the show. And like I was telling you before we went on the break, we are dealing with an existential crisis. One that is threatening our very livelihood and our very lives. Illegal mining is causing such a devastation. And for those of us who live here in Accra, when you go on social media and you see the videos and pictures of streams completely polluted, do not think that is far from you. The Ghana Water Company Limited announcing only last week they were unable to pump as much water as they would have wished to persons living in the central region. Accra already, we have been rationing water. When it gets to the time, the Ghana Water simply cannot deal with the turbidity, the poor turbidity of water and cannot produce water for us. There will be that trouble. And not only that, when Erastus produced that documentary, Poison for Gold, we're told about kids who have been given birth to without hands, some without heads, and the scientists pointed out it was because of illegal mining and the mercury and the substances they were introducing into our water bodies. So, illegal mining affects you and I, whether here in Accra, in Koforidua, up north, wherever you may be. We must all see illegal mining as the existential threat that it is to us and get to fight it until it is over. I'm going to connect with Aulana, Della, Philip, and Nana Kofi briefly, but listen to this.
I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps it's the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
Rebel liberation. Tell me where you
the immediate results that I was looking for. My stance on the issue cost my party and I significant losses in the mining community. That my statement that I was putting my presidency on the line in the fight against Galamsey was neither bombast nor recklessness. It was the simple truth.
The baby or the fetus that was in the mother's womb was deformed. The eye was not well formed.
It's not as if there's no water in the Pra River, but the quality is so bad, we can't abstract more than that. The Asante operation causes the sand or the silt to gather at the intake that we are not able to use to extract water. Sometimes we even need to close down the plant.
Tell me where we gonna run to when them say we have to pay.
He should resign. He has refused to provide leadership to ensure that this destructive behavior, which is a life-threatening situation against all of us, should be curtailed. So he has to resign.
What is happening now is more dangerous and deadly than apathy. And all church leaders, let us not just go on Sunday morning, preach wonderful sermons, and get applause of the people, take offerings and tithes, and come home and think all is well. It is our nation is being destroyed. We are heading towards a national doom.
Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter, shelter. Simple life is all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter, shelter. Yeah.
There is no potent solution to ending Galamsey and an impeachment of President Akufo-Addo. When we come back, I should begin filing a motion of censorship on the president, citing him for failing to manage Galamsey.
So Galamsey is big. There are those who say the lands minister must resign. There are those who say the president must also go because they are the political leadership and they did make specific promises about fighting this menace. And it appears all that have not been realized. But what exactly do you think about this? 055-1111-997. That is the WhatsApp console. If you are listening from any community that Galamsey is going on, please do text us. If it's possible, we'll give you a call and get to hear from what exactly is going on. So please send us a message, 055-1111-997. Let's go to the Zoom and start the conversation. Awula Sewa is an eco-conscious citizen, and she's been on this chase for as long as I can remember, being consistent and asking that we're going to get to where we are now. About 7 years ago, no one seemed to pay attention. Now we are here, and they have more doomsday prophecies for us. Awula, it's good to have you on the show. Okay, I'll hear. Okay, I've just heard from Awula. I'll hear from her again. Dela is also an activist and is connecting with us on the Zoom. Dela, it's good to have you connect with us. Dela, you have to unmute.
Yes, good evening, my brother. It's good to be on the show.
Nana
to discuss a map. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, Nana Kofi Akwa is also a pastor and a blogger. I mean, he's always having some thought-provoking thoughts on national issues, and it's great to have him connect with us on this show today. Nana Kofi, it's good to have you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
Edward Deborah is in the United Kingdom. He will connect with us pretty shortly. But then Philip Saba is also joining me in studio. Philip, it's good to have you connect with us.
Yeah, Kwaku is good.
Well, let me start with you, Nana Kofi Akwa, and given how bad the situation is. I mean, in your wildest dream, did you think we were going to get here? Because Galamsey has been around for a long time and the warning signs were on the wall. We seem to have thought, listen, we're not really going to get really bad like we are getting now. What is your sense of where we are now? Nana Kofi Akwa, if you can unmute.
Oh, so sorry, the network is a bit glitchy. But what I mean, I am heartbroken over Galamsey, and unfortunately, if by some miracle we were able to even stop it today, okay, based on how much damage has already been done, if we are able to stop Galamsey today, it will take us not less than 100 years to recover. You know, that is how bad it is. And looking at the lack of political will, looking at the apathy, the levels of apathy, looking at the attitude we have, I don't see Galamsey ending anytime soon. You know, so to be honest, it's very hard to say these words, but I think this nation is doomed. You know, the pollution to water bodies, who can live without drinking water? So if your water bodies are polluted, what are you going to drink? Farmlands, massive forest reserves are being destroyed, have been destroyed already, and are being destroyed for galamsey. And once a land has been destroyed by galamsey, it will take you minimum 15 years, to be able to produce something that is healthy, minimum, And now they're even introducing cyanide apart from the mercury. They're also adding cyanide. So honestly, with how things are going, the nation is doomed.
I mean,
the nation is doomed.
Nana Kofi paints such a gloomy, and we've all seen it. I mean, he's spot on with his observation in terms of how terrible the situation is. But you get the same sense that we are really doomed, and we are in for a lot of trouble. Hello, Dela.
Yes, people. It is very important to note that when the president said, I am prepared to put my presidency on the line, I don't really get to understand exactly what he was talking about. Look, the quest to get rich overnight when my party is in power, the impunity by most political actors, especially NPP executive and some government officials, is as a result of where we are today. I mean, honestly speaking, I am surprised that to date we are still talking about galamsey. Whilst the Professor Boatin report is clear that some government actors are deeply deeply involved. So I mean, and the same people are still around, still engaging in illegal mining, and we are still here talking about it. Why don't we go in for them? I mean, we have the president who appoint people, to take care of our environment. Yet we've seen the same people taking bribe, and even some are even engaging Chinese workers and working for them. Why? Are we not in this country where the Professor Boatin report states clearly that there are appointees in the Jubilee House that are doing or supporting illegal mining or interfering, fighting against the menace? And it even went on to say the NPP MP are selling some illegal acquired concession to the tune of 200,000 Ghana cedi, forgetting that his uncle, his niece, his nephew, his brother are living in the same environment, and that when the water gets polluted, it will affect them. But what do we see? He thinks that getting money and getting rich, it is what he wanted. Therefore, whatever goes on after that, he careless. And the whole nation is suffering. Today, it is clear that the Ghana Water Company has made it clear that it is very difficult because of illegal mining activity along the Praia River in the central region. It is making it almost impossible for them to even extract raw waters from raw waters to even raw waters for treatment for raw water for the people to be able to drink.
I see your struggle there, because I mean it's how bad the situation is and how passionate you are about it. Hold it there for me, Dela, and I'll come to Philip, who's in studio pretty shortly. But Awula, you have been chasing this for years, like I said in the introduction. And I mean, long before I came to join, you were on this platform speaking about illegal mining, the environment, the forest reserves, and what exactly is happening in there. How much of this trouble that we are in now is due or down to a lack of a political will? Because some have said this starts and ends with political will.
Of course, there's no political will. We supposedly put our presidency on the line. And if we look at the results, it didn't amount to anything. And the president should reconsider his position. But I'll also say that Ghanaians had a role to play. The Constitution enjoins every single Ghanaian to work towards the protection of the environment. The writing was on the wall. What did Ghanaians do? We're not angry enough. We thought it was affecting people in a distant place, and that is wrong. When your neighbor's house is burning and you are unconcerned, your house will also burn. Why is there a frenzy now? Because there's going to be a festival and the water company has told that they might not be able to supply water. But the writing has been on the wall for a long time, since 2017. And we were not angry enough to do anything. And as has been said, we need to immediately ban all forms of small-scale mining, whether artisanal mining, community mining, call it whatever name you like, ban it straight away. Then repeal the perverse LI 2462, which allows us to destroy our forest reserves, including globally significant biodiversity areas. We must give government a deadline to do this. And if they don't, either demonstration or general strike. Today, the Ghana Medical Association has come out to demand that small-scale mining ends. But we cannot end at demanding. A timeline should be given. And if they don't do that, we should all down our tools until the galamseyers are made to stop poisoning us all. This is completely wrong, and it shows that there's a lack of leadership. And in fact, if you look at LI 2460 when it was passed, and you look at the actors in the forest reserves, destroying our forest reserves and the source of water. For example, they are in the Draw River Forest Reserve. Atiwa Forest Reserve is under siege. Pure wickedness. But I put it down to a lack of political will and to Ghanaians not being bothered enough when we're being told about what was happening. As far back as 2017, the writing was on the wall. Why did we not do anything? Do we have to wait till we have deformed babies? We have maternal deaths. We have our waters being poisoned. And believe me, when the water is white or clear, does that mean that there's no mercury or cyanide in it? It doesn't mean so. So all of us could be affected. Do we have to wait for the destruction of our farmlands, for farmers and fishermen to lose their livelihood, for us all to be poisoned before we began to sit up? I think it's an indictment on all of us, Ghanaians, but especially the leadership or lack of leadership and vision. We're bent on building a cathedral, but the most important thing, the welfare of Ghanaians, we're not bothered about. And God is not mocked. God is not mocked. If you are really caring about God, you would care about the welfare of Ghanaians, and you would not be allowing galamsey under your watch. I think the president should have resigned when he realized that he was not prepared to do what he had to do to get rid of illegal mining. He was more concerned about votes, and that is very, very sad.
I mean, Philip, I want to bring you in where Awula ends about votes. The president spoke about how his fight against illegal mining in his first term affected his party in the 2020 election. In fact, the data actually bears the president out that they did lose in a lot of communities where illegal mining was happening because the presidency and government had deployed a lot of soldiers in there. Politicians will always look out for what will put them in power first before they do other things. Whether it's right or wrong, that is what politicians will always normally do. And there are those who have blamed the NDC, for instance, that the NDC capitalized on that. John Dramani Mahama went around these communities and said, I'll free you, I'll do this, I'll do that, we'll allow you to do this, we'll allow you to do that, taking advantage of the situation to win votes. Is that the same sense you get, Philip?
Kwaku, first of all, I would want you to get to understand that former President John Dramani Mahama saying that he will free some people is not a fact that he's condoning the act of galamsey. You see, he said that the real actors of these things are the people who are part of the presidency, who are part of the Flagstaff House, who are part of government machinery. You realize that Professor Frimpon's work that he did on illegal mining captured a lot of things that the president turned deaf ears to. The Attorney General said that it was an empty report. Even that is not enough to prosecute these people. But you realize that the people who were the key actors of these things are the people who are working freely, and the small boys that are in the villages not getting any work to do are the ones that we've sometimes used to save faces to make it feel like we are fighting this corruption. Every now and then, if you check the budgets over the years, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources actually takes a huge amount of money for this End Galamsey campaign or Stop Galamsey campaign that they do every year. Where this money goes to and the effect or the results that we get, we don't get to see anything as a country. Notwithstanding that, Kwaku, if Professor Frimpont's report would not be used because some people feel that it's political witch hunting, or sometimes because he's angry with the party or something, there was this man, Alistair Mateas, who at the Al Jazeera, I know you are very familiar with the Al Jazeera report, who said that the President William Adodan Kwaku has been his lawyer and engaged him in several of these Galamsey acts. You see,
presidency did put out a statement at the time saying that listen, that was not true.
No,
demanded a
maybe we may
not
have enough time to go into the report, the response that the presidency brought out from Asante too. You see, even that report has deficiencies. He said that he doesn't remember being in active practice. Well, we know the presidency has been in practice over years, not that he's not going to the courtroom. But you see, the issue is that nothing convinces. Lawyers have something that they say that nothing convinces a man faster than his own words. Now that the man said that he has been involved in some of these things with the president, and you see, the president seems he puts his presidency on the line on the matter. But you and I know that it is the lives of the citizens that are in line, that he puts in line on this matter, because he's literally doing nothing about this whole issue. When you look at the effort by the president, you see Professor Frimpont's reports captured that even in the house of the president at Chebi, there is something similar going on there, or they have done a galamsey there. So one may say that if something is happening there, and the president definitely because it is his house, he knows something about it. So probably someone may say that he's also engaged in illegal mining. But that is a conversation for another day. That would be we may allege that the president was involved in it. But key particularly is that there is no one in this country who has the constitutional backing, the constitutional goodwill, who has all the machineries that to fight galamsey. You and I can just petition or maybe apologize to people that they should stop that, they should avoid that. But government backing, commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, when persuasion fails, you enforce that there should be some level of force that will be applied. No one has that power. President John Dramani Mahama doesn't have that. Former president doesn't have that. You, Kwaku Asante, you don't have that. Myself, Philip, I don't have that power. Is the presidency or is the president of the Republic of Ghana that has that power to call those people to order? And if they are not able to do that, he has the prosecutory powers to actually go after these people. But this whole thing, we are here shouting, talking about people. I think that we generally as Ghanaian people, and to a large extent the media, we are being afraid of victimization. We are afraid that we'll be victimized for whatever we do. The media should be able to call out the presidency or call the government in power that this is what you have to do. Now you somewhere shouting and talking to the people, we know where the problem is coming from. We know who can put the people to order. Yet we are face saving. We are whipping people, other people who may not necessarily be in charge. Why don't we call out the presidency? Why don't we call out the government? That's your government. This is what you are doing. You promised us this. You are doing this, and this is not right. Why is the media afraid to call out the presidency? It is very bad that not just the media, even CSOs and many other people are shouting it, saying that Galamsey is doing that. Every day, somebody is talking about the effects of Galamsey and the issues that we are facing as Galamsey. Who has been bold enough to go to the presidency and say that, Mr. President, this is going wrong, and you have the political goodwill, you have constitutional backing, you have the military, you have the police service, everybody at your disposal to use. Recently, I read a report that someone said that some Galamsey people were having ammunitions that they chased the Ghana Armed Forces, about 20 men who was chasing them. They gunned them or they overpowered them. And these are not things that we want to hear. We want to find a solution to this. And you see, it was a great news. I remember watching Joy News those days when you see they played this advert when you guys were doing some Galamsey fight. I think City was doing that. I will put my presidency in line or on the line in this matter. This clip has been played over and over again. Has media been able to point to the president that, Mr. President, this thing we have played over the years, and this is the problem?
Okay, Philip, in defense of the media, we do all the. Once again, I get it that you are not accusing the media. I'm just trying to put this across. Philip, hold on. In defense of the media has specifically almost always called out power bearers and those that have to specifically do their job. You do realize that those of us sitting on this side of the console, we sit in the middle, and we give the platform to those who can call them out. I will ask Sewa, Nana Kofi, Akwa, yourself. You've called out specifically those you think should fix the situation. Haruna Idrisu has been on this platform and has stated that he's going to move impeachment motions against the president. There are those who have asked them to resign. So Philip, please hold on for me. I'll come to you. I'll come to you again, and then I want to go to Nana Kofi Akwa. Nana Kofi Akwa, where do we draw the line between the greed and the inaction? there's a lot of greed in the system. I mean, clearly, because there are those who are just doing this in such wanton disregard for the life of others. Where do we draw the line between the greed of the people and our collective conscience and the lack of action from the power bearers?
I feel that all human beings are greedy. It is, I mean, colonialism, apartheid, all the excesses in human history, have come out of greed. But when you build a nation, that's why you have a judiciary. That's why you have other bodies that are vested with the power to hold accountable. Ghana's problem isn't that our people are greedy. Ghana's problem is that the people who are supposed to protect us are the very ones behind the galamsey. You see, when fish keeps getting lost at the pantry, and then you put the cat in charge, you've doubled the problem. The only problem with galamsey, listen, these boys who do the digging, okay, they have very short lifespans. I've interviewed a lot of them. I've met a lot of them. The real people behind the galamsey, listen, you cannot do galamsey in secret. Look at the size of one excavator, okay? An excavator is not a motorbike. It is not a Tico. It is not even a Land Cruiser. These things are massive. The kind of equipment you need to cause this level of damage are massive. It is impossible to sneak them into a community without the chiefs seeing, without the assemblyman seeing, without the DCs. It is impossible. So it is impossible for the leadership of this nation to say they don't know who is behind the galamsey. It is impossible. Somebody asked me a question. They said, Nana Kofi, it is not only Ghana that has gold. South Africa also has gold. There are many nations that have gold. How come it is only in Ghana that galamsey is happening? How come it is only in Ghana that massive, vast farmlands, huge land of cocoa are devastated and destroyed, and they won't even bother have the courtesy to cover the pits? So apart from damaging these people's farms, now their children go to school and they fall into the pit. When it rains, old people fall into the pit, and every single day somebody dies in the pit in a galamsey community. What is the real problem? The real problem is our leadership. Listen, there is not a leader in power, okay, who can say they don't know who the beneficiaries of galamsey are. Unfortunately, and I'll say this as a pastor, people come to church and we preach and we say the devil and we paint this picture of the devil. Look, sometimes the devil is a human being. Okay, sometimes, and unfortunately, in this case, what is happening? We are not the only ones who will suffer. Their children will suffer. Their grandchildren will suffer. When the water is polluted, there is no water they will find anywhere in this land that they can drink and they will be healthy. There is not a disease the poor will suffer that they will not suffer. When you pollute water bodies, when you eradicate forest covers, okay, when you turn fertile land into deserts, you cannot escape that apocalypse. It is impossible to escape it. So the people with the power to bring change and are not. I mean, I'm hearing some of the people say the Ghanaian, it should be the Ghanaian. Look, we have spoken. What can the average Ghanaian do? Chiefs who try fighting it in their own community, they point guns at them and drive them off galamsey sites. Chiefs, people given the power. This thing is a power problem. The galamsey crisis Ghana is facing, it is a power problem. And as they say, when a fish begins to rot, it starts in the head. Okay? The people who we voted into power, they are the ones behind our doom. There is no other way around it. It is not about the ordinary Ghanaian rising and taking action. Because we cannot do it ourselves, we voted certain people into power to fight for us, to look out for our best interests. They are the people killing us.
I mean, Awula, you want to make a point?
Yes, I'd like to make a point. 2 points. First of all, we cannot absolve President Mahama. He did politicize the situation. But let me say this. When you also have something known as people's power. As I stand right now, the GNA, has demanded that the president put an end to illegal mining. What I'm trying to say is that I accept 100% that it's a question of leadership, lack of political will to stop the galamsey, because the firefighters are the arsonists. That is true. Those who are supposed to be stopping galamsey are the very people involved. And yes, look at the cost of excavators. Kofi Amma can't afford them. We know who are bringing in the excavators. Having said all this, and we know the people involved, for example, Akunta Mining was alleged to be involved. What happened to him? Absolutely nothing. He destroyed or allegedly destroyed portions of the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve, and he's walking around. In fact, according to the report from the 4th Estate, he has concessions within the Forest Reserve. Having said all this, there's something known as people power. And I'll say this again. When the leadership is not prepared to act in our best interest, we cannot sit quietly and be poisoned. We can also go on strike. We can demonstrate. When Smith was about to sell shares in the hotels and organized labor and other organizations came together, they backtracked. So there's something known as people's power, because we cannot just sit there and the leadership has no intention of doing anything to stop the poisoning, and then we fold our arms and say, what can we do? We can do something. We can do something.
I mean, Vela, I want to bring you in on this point that Nana Kofi made about the young people, the ordinary people who are on these galamsey sites working for the so-called big people. I mean, where does unemployment, for instance, come in? I mean, there's a vast situation of unemployment situation in the country. There is a chief that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia went to, who said openly that we cannot stop galamsey because we don't have jobs. So if you create jobs for us and it's sustainable, people are going to leave. Is that the same sense you get all because of the greed and the amount of money people are getting from the galamsey? Even if you give them a bank job or you come and put them behind this console, they're just simply not interested because it's not going to fetch them enough.
Yes, Kwaku. Before I come to that, I want to respond to what Madam Sewa said. You know, the former President Mahama never politicized the issues at hand.
Didn't he? When he said he was going to free people who had been jailed. Philip, I'll come to you. Philip, no. Philip, please hold on. I'll come to you. I want to put that to Dela. Dela, please
what respond. He said. Yeah, what he said at that point in time was that when you have the big wigs who are behind the whole illegal mining, and you have gone to, arrest the ordinary persons, you have not achieved anything. So therefore, he is of the view that let's go in for those who are behind the whole menace. That is to say, those who are bringing the excavators and co, and even engaging the other foreign nationals like Chinese to mine, and leave the younger ones, because if I am at home and you have not called me to come, and I wouldn't go, because if you lure me with 500 cedi, and I will because there's no job, and I'll come and work, I will go. And let's leave that aside. With the issue of there's no job and all that, that is why the former president is proposing 24-hour economy to absorb all these young guys, including myself and yourself. Because when there is a work, people will not go in for that. So there is that, solution to the problem already. And let not forget that, like what Nana Kofi said, the very people who we pay with our taxes are the same people who are doing what? Who are engaging in this illegal. So what do? The best solution is to vote them out. If we continue and we continue voting them into office, that is why this illegality will continue. So the best option is to vote them out. That will be the end. And we have a proper governance system that will control this by bringing 24-hour economy into the system. That will absorb all these young guys. Because when they are employed, you dare not go in and call them to come and do illegal. And also, there are a lot of legislative instruments already in place to fight this. But the president is adamant. The vice president is adamant. Let me chip in this. In security, when you unleash a war dog to war, you must then put in various or plenty of mechanisms to to protect and to prevent the unleashed dog from getting into trouble and getting out of trouble.
I mean, you said a lot of things about employing people and maybe they'll stop. Perhaps maybe the grid will not let them stop. People are on the Galamsey field and they are seeing 2,000, 3,000 cities a day. How many jobs in the country gives you 3,000 cities a day? If you do an average of 3,000 cities a day, you're looking at 90,000 cities a month if you work every single day of the month. That is about how much the Bank of Ghana governor, Cocoa Board CEO, the very top people on the public payroll, that's how much they earn. So perhaps there's a little bit of greed issue there that we have to tackle. And when these people are exposed to that much money, if you go to communities devastated by Galamsey, you see the impact of Galamsey money, how things are going up, price of things, how things are. So perhaps that's also a conversation to about Philip. Awula, Nana Kofi, the point have been made around this table that the people's power must speak. And Awula gives a good example that I was thinking about. When the people stood out and said they were opposed to the SNIT hotel sales, when organized labor decided to shut down government backtracked. Why are we not seeing the same sense? Is it a sense that we get that, listen, this is very far away from us, it's not really back home yet? How mobilized should we, the people?
Just to emphasize on the point Dela made, I think you saying that President John Dramani Mahama wanted to free those people who have been arrested. The issue has been that the people that were arrested, as I said earlier on, are not the people who are actively involved, or they are not the ones, the cost of excavator. You and I cannot afford that. It's definitely the big men who do that. And you see the Akunta Mining and many other mining companies that have been involved in some of these things is by those in government. So you see, government seems government, or largely the president and the powers that be, are very hand tight in the issue. So the issue at hand now is not because organized labor or the people should hit the streets. How many times will we continue to hit the streets for government?
You hit the streets every day. Don't you see in France protests for 30 days, 40 days?
How many times would you need to hit the street before government will see the right thing and do it? You see, you realize that minority in parliament and the people of Ghana demonstrated against the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Addison. He's still at post. So it is the to-do will of government.
Once.
They did that once. And even fix the country demonstration, a whole lot of things happened. Government seemed unconcerned about the whole issue. So it is only the to-do will of government. Government intentionally wanting to do what the people are calling for. And you see, when you are saying that people should hit the streets and people are feeling that we should hit the streets and they are not doing it, that brings the level of anger to the people. And that may bring some issue that we may not be ready for as a country. People may be so agitated and be out of anger. Maybe state properties and many other things will be destroyed. Government, you see, President William Akufo-Addo is an old man. He's an old man is supposed to be wise enough. So you see, most of these things should be something that you don't need to be hit on every day to do the right thing. He came out willingly. No one put a loaded gun on his head that put your presidency on the line on the matter. So you did that voluntarily, and the issue is that the people doing it. There's a report on it. You yourself have been incriminated in it. If you think that you are white, you are clear, you are president, you don't need your name to be out there. Conduct an investigation. Put it before public. A committee of inquiry or something. Do a research. Try to clear your name. You, the presidency, and the president himself have been incriminated in the act.
Well, when it comes to the president's name being mentioned, I remember that the president did indicate that he was not guilty. In fact, he did go to his residence in Chebi. Philip, I'll come to you in a minute. He did go to the residence in Chebi that was alleged to have an illegal mining site around the house. With journalists, they went to check. At the time, the report that came in was that there was no illegal mining going on there. But then, Professor Frimpong Boateng did say that it was going on 2 years prior. If it was going on 2 years prior, clearly, maybe at the time they went there, the place would have been cleared or the land would have been reclaimed. But it's a serious issue you talk about. That Prof did mention that. But I want to go to Edward Debra. He's a Ghanaian in the United Kingdom. Philip, I'll come to you. Edward Debra is a Ghanaian in the United Kingdom. I mean, Edward, as a Ghanaian living in the United Kingdom, looking back at your home country, the devastation that is being caused, what sense do you get and what lessons do you think we can draw from around the world to get to the point where we deal with this existential threat?
Thank you for having me. Good evening to your listeners and the fellow participants. I don't know if you can hear me clearly. Can you confirm?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Right. I feel like I'll put it at the doorstep of leadership, And the reason why I say that is that everything rises and falls on leadership. We sometimes sit aloof and pretend as if we don't know what's going on until it catches up with all of us. When these things started, I heard a lot of talk about water bodies getting destroyed. There was some research that I read from one of the professors at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology that sought to suggest that children born within those areas were going to be affected in a few years to come. We've seen the evidence over the last couple of days. What is happening? If indeed the future generation, if the future is actually for the younger ones, then I feel our leaders are failing us. They started failing us a long time ago, but at this time, they are doing that with impunity. We've got to get our laws to work. What I see will be the panacea to all this challenge is for us to ensure that those law institutions that are supposed to enforce these things are given enough mandate to do what they have to do. If we do not strengthen our institutions, we are still going to be talking about this in the next 20 years. I remember in 2009, when Barack Obama came to Ghana, all he said was we should strengthen our institutions. I honestly do not see how strengthened our institutions are, because leadership cannot tell me that they do not know who are behind this menace. They do know. If you look at other jurisdictions, the laws work. Everybody is accountable for their actions. But in our case, we actually have to beg our people to be accountable to us. That is where we have to draw the line. When leadership decides that they are going to do what is right, they can do it. Let me cite two examples, then I can allow the others to speak. When they wanted to pass E-levy, they did everything possible to make it work. Didn't they do that? Didn't you see somebody, a legislator who was, one of the legislators who was sick, who was brought to parliament to vote? That happened because they desperately needed that money. I'm saying the same thing, that if they want to stop illegal mining, they can do that. The political will is not there. They are not willing to do it. It's all about the next election. If we don't put our country beyond elections, the future generations will suffer. All of us will come home at the end of the day. We cannot live abroad forever. What are we coming to? What are we coming to? Ordinary water now, we are struggling to have it. Years ago, Ghana was started as the largest cocoa producer. Today, can we say the same?
We've lost that privilege, and it's now Ivory Coast. We are second, and we are struggling to meet the target that Cocoa Board set. Thank you very much, Edward. I'll come around the table and we'll conclude in a second. But Alhaji Salisu Muhammad did go into these forest reserves together with our colleague Erastus Asaridonko. He has seen firsthand the devastation. Alhaji, can you paint a picture about how terrible the situation is? We've seen the videos, we've seen the pictures. But for someone who's seen them with your Philly Gadochi eyes, how bad is it?
In fact, it cannot be described. West to west. We have worked with him in the forest and see how Galamsey's has destroyed the land, especially Akunta mining. Still, they are still on it. 3 forest reserves. These are MTEs. Some time ago, they were trying to frighten us that the government has released some of our forests to Galamsey's. I don't know what the government is thinking about. And you people, the intellectuals of Ghana, if you people can remember, one lawyer, I don't know whether he's still alive, I don't think he's still alive, called V.C. Kraft, Mr. Kraft, said the president hasn't had a classmate in this Ghana. Now, who is his classmate? They first asked him, who is his classmate? He's not a lawyer.
Alhaji, I see the point you make there. I think you're passionate about this Galamsey issue, but we are straying into other matters. But I'm really grateful that the work you do with you do with the Rasta Saradanko, going out there with him and seeing the real devastation, how it's been devastated, the devastation. Thank you very much, Alhaji. Alhaji Salisu Muhammad is in Summer Boy. He's been going around with the Rasta Saradanko, sharing the troubles that Galamsey is causing us. Let's wrap up on the show. Nana Kufiakwa, Awula Sawa early on made the point about banning all small-scale mining for now. Ghana Medical Association has made the same point. Is that the same sense you get? That as a first step, because sometimes the difference between illegal mining and small-scale mining is just not there. The big miners we can track, Anglo Gold, Asante, all of those guys, we can track them. But we just can't seem to figure out the thin line between illegal mining and small-scale mining. As a first step, do you agree with Awula that we must ban all small-scale mining?
Charlie, I would say we should just ban mining, period. Not just small-scale, mining. Look, the problem, I'll tell you a story. So I went to Wasa Ikriapim area. I met a 30-year-old man. He's doing galamsey now. His story, he's a cocoa farmer. His family owns cocoa farms. Galamsey people came, started destroying their farms. They are not making money. He was struggling. At 30, he wasn't settled. They didn't have his girlfriend. Galamsey guy used Galamsey money to snatch his girlfriend from him. The pesticide they use for farming, he drank pesticide. He tried committing suicide with pesticide, and he survived. And after surviving, he's like, listen, I'm going to join them because I don't see a future for me. The farms are going. I don't have money. I'm broke. So now he's an active galamsey miner. The social pressure, due to the high levels of poverty, and due to the, of course, easy money, easy come, easy go, the opulence being displayed in these communities, unless we do something drastic, nothing will change. And let me say, for those who are trying to defend Mahama or this, listen, Ghana is a ship, okay? Imagine a big ship sinking. NPP, NDC, all these parties, they are rooms on the ship. This is not the time to be fighting for rooms. We are saying that the ship is sinking. Galamsey, what did Mahama do about Galamsey? What has the Kufa? Our problem, the problem we have, it is not party politics. Okay, we are saying that our nation is sinking. And I want sound-minded Ghanaians to put their political flag aside and realize that when this nation sinks, your party will not save you. Your tribe will not save you. So the small-mindedness that we can't seem to think outside party lines. Beloved, what we are talking about now, it is bigger than that. Oh. It is bigger than your small party. I have seen this. I have seen it myself. Okay, I work in these communities. What we are discussing is not your party that you want to come to power. Oh. There will be no future for you. You that you are listening and you are trying to defend you have no future. This country has no future with the way things are going. So the earlier we rise and do something about it, the better.
The earlier we rise and do something about it, the better. I mean, if the ship sinks, like your analogy, we all ship with it. The political parties, like you said, small rooms within this ship, it all sinks. I want to give you the final word on this, then I'll come to Saba in the studio. Awula, you also called for a ban on small-scale mining and all these issues. Government will talk to you about the revenue that this brings for the state to be able to do all the things that the people need, roads, schools, hospitals, all the things that government need to do. So there's a big issue there. Isn't it a tough ask for government?
I'm sorry, there's no big issue. First of all, I would say that the mining, I wouldn't say I trust the big companies. What I would say is that it's easier to monitor the few big companies we have than the thousands of illegal miners. And because there's no compliance and we don't know how to enforce. We can't even enforce noise pollution. But let me be very clear about this. It's a false analysis. When you have X millions from illegal mining, and then you look at the cost of the maternal deaths, the cost of the rise in kidney disease, the cost of having deformed babies, the cost to our health, and then the fact that fishermen are losing their livelihood. Cocoa, which used to bring us so much money, cocoa farms are being destroyed. When you look at all this, and then you look at the cost of reclamation, when as you said, they leave the pits uncovered for people to die in. And apart from that, when you want to reclaim the land, it costs a lot of money. So it's a false stance to say we are getting so much. We get even more from remittances. So what I would say is that let's have our eyes fixed on what we want for Ghanaians. If you leave your forest untouched, you can even get money from the carbon sink. There's so much we can do besides mining. Lots of countries have gold. Some of them have decided that the health of their people is more important than poisoning everybody inside for a mess of pottage. And we have to be very, very clear. As has been said right now, it's just about no leadership. The firefighters are the arsonists. So what we need to do right now is to demand that the government puts an end to all this illegal mining. If they're not prepared to do that, then maybe we should lay down our tools until they force the galamseyers to lay down their tools.
And I'll be very much looking forward to hearing more from Awula Sewa. Awula Sewa will be on TV this evening on Ghana Connect on TV. You have to watch exactly she's been doing a lot of work on this. So Awula Sewa has a lot to say about this. Philip, I want to give you the last word on this. 1 minute. You've been reading the NDC manifesto. What exactly is it in it that the NDC is promising in terms of dealing effectively with illegal mining?
Okay,
1 minute.
So Kwaku, President John Dramani Mahama, when it comes to power, come 2025, 7th January, is looking forward to recategorizing the mining sector into the small, medium, and the large scale so that there can be effective monitoring. Trying to he also tried to decentralize the licensing procedures and every other thing. That you see, when you get the chiefs and the people at the local area having first-hand information, of having first-hand input in whatever that they are doing, they give it effective monitoring and all. And regardless, with President John Dramani Mahama coming to, there is this project of Tree for Life and the Blue Water policies. You see, all those lands that have been degraded and have been made bad. President John Dramani Mahama is saying that when it comes to power, we get the youth, we get some young people to do afforestation and plant them so that we can regenerate our life. You see, so Kwaku, the fight as we are talking about is a fight that involves both people. I mean, both NDC and NPP. It's a national conversation that we need to have. We need to get our leaders to work. We need to get President William Adodan Akufo-Addo working very much as hard as possible to make sure that we resolve this issue. Galamsey is like the presidency and everybody in the NPP, and I mean, government machinery is all involved in the Galamsey.
So we all need to come around the table and fix it. I mean, it's a big issue that we are going to keep. You know, when it comes to Galamsey, Ghanaian media, we've been big on it, and Joy News, and in particular the multimedia group, we've been very huge on it. Tomorrow on Newsfire, all 3 hours, a special edition, the failed Galamsey fight, mobilizing to halt the existential threat. Samson Ladi Anyenini and a host of his guests are going to dig right into it. 1 hour before that, I'll be joined by Awula Sewa. Nana Kufiakwa will join me again on TV. Other people are also joining in to have this conversation. So it's going to be huge. Benjamin Alpha is also coming in. We're going to have that conversation on TV. We are moving right away from Ghana Connect on radio to Ghana Connect on TV as well. So if you didn't have enough on the show today, don't worry. We are having more on all our platforms, and tomorrow Newsfile is going to be big on that, and Ghana Connect on TV is also going to be big on that. My name is Kwaku Asante. The message is out there. The people in charge, you have to do something. And the people's power, also those of us ordinary people, when push comes to shove, and these politicians with all their deep pockets can fly all over the place and even import water to their houses, some of us can't. And this is why you need to get up now and demand that this is ended. In whatever form or shape you take it, so long as it's a legal way, please fight this and let's end Galamsey. It's an existential threat. We all need to do better. Let's stop giving people permits to mine in forest reserves. Forest reserves. We are giving people permits to go and mine in it. Small scale mining. People are taking thousands of acres of land, concessions, people connected to power, politicians, and getting all this. The library is up next to Dandy Dusty. Whilst we are trying to get this done, just cool off a little bit with Dandy Dusty, and we'll see you again very soon. My name is Kwaku Asante. I'll see you again next week on Ghana Connect.
I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps this is the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.